How's it going, guys? Central Coast Disc Golf and Dynamic Discs are bringing you some more disc golf action. As always, Dynamic Disc is sponsoring a Dynamax giveaway, so make sure to like and comment for a chance to win. And what I got for you today is a Philo Brothwaite putting clinic. Yeah, I came up to Atascadero, pretty close to where I live, and I wasn't in town, but some of my buddies were, so they recorded the putting portion, and I hope you guys like it.
Towards the biggest part of the basket, the way that I'm going to try to show you what I'm doing. So basically, you got the pole, which a lot of people do aim dead center. I kind of make my setup that way, but what actually happens is that my arm is actually flowing to the widest side, to the biggest side for a hyzer. So I'm trying to make my disc come in from right to left and then from high to low. That's what the pendulum does. Instead of pushing, I don't really swing my arm to the basket. Like I see some people do that where they'll like swing their arm. I don't really do that. What I'm trying to do is trying to create an even rhythm and pace to my putt by rocking back. That's one of the most important things is your setup and then your balance and creating momentum. This motion right here, this kind of rocking back to front, you'll feel like the back toe will catch the weight on the way back and push it off going forward. You'll kind of feel the front heel catch the power and transfer to the front. This is like a little teeter-totter, like a rocking chair. And that's how I gain my momentum. I don't just stand there and then just all of a sudden just jerk it through. You know, I'm trying to feel the power. How much power do I need to create? Similar to driving, the same mindset. How much power am I going to create with this rock? How much energy do I need to create to push that far? And I'm trying to stay balanced and weighted right in here in my chest, not like too straight up and down, but more up and down. Kind of right in the middle of it all, 3/4 of the way from straight up and down. Kind of an athletic, relaxed position. So when the weight comes forward, you feel the weight kind of transferred to that shoulder up front. Pulling from basically my left thigh to the point that I'm aiming on the chains. Usually my aiming point is right about here. This is my little zone right here. If I'm anywhere in there, I'm happy. I feel like I've done it right. So I'm going to set that line up. My arm, just like my drives, going this way, my arm can now swing that same angle. Here to here. What it really equates to is up and down on the pole. It's kind of odd, but it kind of works out that way. The angle actually creates a straight up and down with my arm on the pole. Stop right at the pole every time. Not only that, but I've blocked this side of the basket off with my shoulder by doing that. So as long as my wrist doesn't break on the way through, the disc should always stay inside the chain line. The only way that the disc goes past is if I go like this. I unhinge my wrist to break the plane of the chains and it's going to swing past. But if I don't, every time it should be in the same zone. Here to there. I back up 10 or 15 feet, it's pretty much the same thing. The disc doesn't really gain much more momentum until I'm back outside the circle 30 feet or so. Then you have to put a little bit more energy to get it there. And even from this part, it should be the same thing. I'm going to create that line. I'm going to block off the right side of my basket with the shoulders so that on my way out, my arm can't get any wider than the right side of the chains. As long as I don't hinge my wrist on the release. See, if you do that and your wrist comes open, you're probably going to push right. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep my wrist opening up to the pole only. So it's just like the drive where when you're coming out and the wrist comes pop to the line, the same thing with the putt, but instead of coming sideways, now you're coming more up and down and your hands kind of come up to your eye height. That's kind of the golden height in the push putt, right up to your eye. disc should hit the chains on the way down, not elevated. That's all. It's like kind of a foolproof way of not blowing past the basket or going left and right too much. Usually if I miss, it's on line. If I miss, it's usually hitting the cage an inch low or maybe an inch high off the top, or wind push or splash out or something, but it's usually on line. Most of my putts are on line, unless I'm having a really bad day and I just can't figure it out. If I'm not breaking the line, breaking the plane, it should stay on center. The real smooth motion and putt speed to it. I don't really race it there. I'm not lobbing it there either. Just enough attitude to get to the basket. Through the chains, not past the basket. Just get it there. Let your hand come right up the line. Oh, there goes the wrist pull. See if the angle of the disc stays on the hyzer. Probably really preventing this and that close to it, that kind of action. Keep the disc a little bit on the hyzer. Sometimes I put down, it depends on the surface I'm putting at. If I'm putting something where there's a opposite way, then I may change the angle on the release just a little bit, just to keep the nose flat. Kind of like throwing a turnover drive, but it's obviously a smaller motion. If you're throwing a turnover, you're going to guide the nose to the right just a little bit. So then I would do the same thing, but I can adjust that here. At the beginning, like I was saying in the drive, set your angle early. If you're trying to throw something with this attitude, set it up before you throw it so that you're not trying to find that angle on the way out. Like visually set it up before you throw it. Okay, this is the angle I need to go around that little branch or something and get to the chain. Set the angle early. Give yourself the angle early. Then do it. Don't stand there and look at it and go, okay, I'm just going to make it up as I go. Chances are you're probably not going to have a high success rate with that. If I'm turning it over, then barely come across the grain. Just flip my wrist over a little bit and the nose comes flat. Just a little bit. Not a very big motion. Pretty short, pretty tight. Not tight in your body, but actually real quick and smooth, Wrist got to be real smooth when you're putting. Try to get that arm up and down on the pole. Up and down. Get a good push from back to front. You really want to focus on catching all that weight on that front foot, because you guys should know you can't fall over inside the circle or you're going to get called on falling putts. So the balance is key. Balance is crucial in putting. If you're falling forward, you got bad balance, people are going to call you on it, you're going to look silly. People don't want to make that call anyway. They really don't. It's going to start happening more and more, I have a feeling. So be aware of your weight, be aware of your balance, be aware of the transition. If you do it right, it should feel pretty evenly keeled. You should feel the weight just naturally flowing forward. Your arm should just come right up with it. Just come right up with it every time. If you do a straddle putt, kind of doing a similar thing. What I'm doing when I'm straddled, my right foot for me is the one that guides me. Let's say I got my mini marker. It depends on if I have to straddle around left or right, but either way, my right foot, I use that to square my body to the target. Instead of being like this here, I'll actually point that toe towards the pole to really make myself square my body to the line. If I'm standing here and I'm straddled this way, now everything is going here. But then all I have to do is just turn that toe and use my hips to turn me square to the basket. Now it doesn't really matter what my feet are doing if my hips are square. Now you're in here and you're bouncing in the knees. And, you want to feel like the butt really do all the work. Just push straight up. Straight up.
Hannah. Fine.
Yeah, you want to feel like it's feet, like you're just going to sit down. Up and down. And as you're coming up and your chest should pop up and your hips should roll forward. You want to feel your hips roll forward on the way out. You don't want to just stay back, then all the weight doesn't come forward with your arm. You got to have that transfer of weight every time, no matter which way you putt. Straddle, staggered, you do jump putts, you do that kind of stuff. You always got to have the balance correct. If you're going to do a jump putt, way back there. I wouldn't even jump putt from that far. That was way out there. It just doesn't feel right. It feels like pointless, You got to feel that weight right here in that knee pointing towards that target. Up the line. It has to be all about flow. Putting is really about flow. Getting that body on the line. Get it on the line. Feel your arms snapping your disc on the line. I missed a lot, but at least I'm on line, Because I'm doing it technically the same way every time, which is what you got to get to. You got to find something that feels comfortable, something that feels natural, and you just got to go with it. You got to do it over and over and over again, and don't stray away from it. Unless if you're doing something technically wrong, then yeah, but I don't know how. We're gonna find out really quick right now, like what's going on with the putting, but you can find a way to get your body to line up properly and try to think about the attitude of the disc getting from your hand to the chains instead of like racing it there, or it's really smarter to have a consistent pace than a snappy putt. Like some guys like Macbeth, he's a world champion, true that, and more power to him, but when he misses, his putts are bad, like they go by the basket far because he putts aggressive. And he's got the confidence to come back and make 30-footers all day long. So not all of us have that, I know I don't. I don't putt that aggressive because I don't like taking 30-footers for par, So I back down on the power and find a way to create more finesse in my putt. Pacing it every time it's a similar pace. So if I miss, my misses are consistent. 10, 15 feet maximum. Or we'll just fall straight down if I miss. So what we're gonna do is we only got a few buckets right here. How many people we got are gonna do this? Pretty much everybody. So we could do that, or is there like 12 of us or so? 12, 14 of us? Maybe we can go like 3 or 4 on a basket.